everyone. So today is Tuesday and it's Holy Week. I think everybody knows by now that Holy Week is the week that we focus on Jesus' death and then his resurrection, and we celebrate that. So today we're going to talk a little bit about a story that takes place in a town called Bethany. And this story takes place a few days before the triumphal entry. And if you'll remember, the triumphal entry is when Jesus rides into Jerusalem on a donkey, and all of the people are waving with their palm branches saying, Hosanna, Hosanna, glory in the highest, and they're worshiping Jesus. So I'm going to read you a story today. It's from Matthew 26, 6 through 13, and then we'll talk a little bit about the story, okay? It says, meanwhile, Jesus was in Bethany at the home of Simon, a man who had previously had leprosy. While he was eating, a woman came in with a beautiful alabaster jar of expensive perfume and poured it over his head. The disciples were very upset when they saw this. What a waste, they said. It could have been sold for a high price and the money given to the poor. But Jesus, aware of this, replied, why criticize this woman for doing such a good thing to me? You will always have the poor among you, but you will not always have me. She has poured this perfume on me to prepare my body for burial. I tell you the truth, wherever the good news is preached throughout the world, this woman's deed will be remembered and discussed. Okay, so let's start out. We're in Bethany, the city of Bethany, at Simon's house, and Simon had a terrible skin disease called leprosy, and Jesus had healed him of that. So Simon was very thankful, and he really loved Jesus. So it was just natural that he would have Jesus into his home and have him over for a meal. And so then we have the woman, and it doesn't mention her name, but she pours some very, very expensive perfumed oil on Jesus's head. And that seems a little odd to us because that's not something we really do anymore. But this was something that was very important to prepare a body for burial. So Jesus of course hadn't died yet, but we're leading up to that. So this is something she did as a form of worship and a form of recognizing that he was going to be dying soon. So this was very common practice in the Jewish culture. So at the time, it was not considered anything unusual, although today we think it seems a little different, but something that was very common at the time. So the woman, knew that Jesus was going to die soon. Jesus knew that he was going to die, and he had told his disciples too that he was going to die. So everybody was in the know. So it's interesting that the disciples said what about the perfume? They said the perfume was wasted on Jesus. They said that the perfume should have been sold and the money given to the poor. But Jesus said, don't criticize the woman. She's done a beautiful thing, and I will not always be here with you. So what the woman had done is given something very valuable. This perfumed oil, you guys, was so expensive. It was an equivalent to the amount of money somebody would make in an entire year. They had a job, a full-time job, and worked for one whole year. That amount of money is how much it cost to buy this perfumed oil. So it was very, very valuable. So I have a question for you. Is anything we give to Jesus ever wasted? So the answer, of course, is no, it is not. It's always good to give valuable gifts to Jesus. So I just wanted you guys to be thinking this week about something valuable that you can give to Jesus. We can't pour oil on Jesus's head this week, but we can give him valuable gifts, things that are important to us. So think about that, something that you could give to God this Holy Week. It might be your time, by giving him your valuable time and talking to him and praying and reading his word, letting him talk back to you. It might be your love. Your love is very valuable, right? So to give Jesus your love is a very good thing. And your heart, to give God your heart this week is very important, and for always, right? Not just for this week, but for always. We want to give him our heart and our love and our time. And I bet you can think of some other things too that you could give to Jesus this Holy Week. So be thinking about those things. And if you guys will pray with me, that would be great. You'll put your praying hands together and we will pray together. Dear God, thank you so much for Jesus, his death and his resurrection. Please help us to focus this week on giving Jesus things that are valuable. We thank you for Easter and all it means to us as Christians. We love you, God. Amen. You guys have a great Holy Week and a wonderful Easter, okay? Take care. Bye.